In our current environment, the expectations of what it means to be a great worship leader are huge. So I asked Todd Sturgell what he considers to be the most unrealistic expectations that worship leaders have about their own roles. And while he's answering, I want you to be thinking, what would your answer be? What are the most unrealistic expectations that worship leaders have as far as their role?
Yeah, this is worship leaders can be very hard on themselves. I like things to be done well. I always have, and so we work really hard towards those things. Excellence honors God and inspires people. We want to have things with excellence, and so I think that so often we can, um, especially if we're early on or don't have the resources or maybe the people that we really want, and we're in that building process, that we can look at other places and really have that comparison thing going on, where we watch a church that's thousands of people, and we're a church of 300 or
Yeah.
whatever it might be, and we want to do things like they do it and sound like they sound and have our online feed sound like theirs sounds and all the different things. And if we're not careful, we can just have this comparison game, and it just can really be defeating. So you have to make sure you can look at where you are, the resources that you have. That's what I teach my team about excellence. Excellence is not being perfect. Excellence isn't about being the very best thing that's ever happened. Excellence is about being the very best with what God has given you, whether
Yeah.
that be resources, whether that be the talent, whether that be the people, the equipment, whatever it might be. Being the best that you can be with that, that's excellence. And the excellence that looks different, throughout your career or throughout, the journey that you have and the growth of your teams. And so, but that comparison thing can just really be something that can come and bite you.
Yeah, and I can only imagine for somebody who's coming into worship leader in this current reality where we have YouTube. And so now, back in the
Uh,
day, like you may have heard somebody who was great. Well, now like you can just be flooded with people who are just absolute rock
yeah,
stars, world-class
yeah,
musicians. Some of these churches, when you see and you can hear the kind of the backstories of the musicians they have playing, and it's just that's tough. I'm from a small town in West Monroe. That's tough to match up with some church in Nashville
yeah.
that's, got professionals all over the place. So, what are your thoughts? If you are a worship leader or a worship leader, what do you think are the most unrealistic expectations that worship leaders put on themselves? I would love to hear your answer in the comments below. This clip was actually part of a larger conversation that Todd and I had about the role clarity for worship leaders. I actually have created a reflection guide to help you find your answer to what you consider to be the 4 key roles for a worship leader, along with some reflection and discussion questions. You can find the download information in the description below and use it whether you're someone who's hiring or leading a worship leader. Maybe you are a worship leader or think that's a position that you would like to have and want to get some focus about the areas that matter most. More than anything, I know that role clarity can be revolutionary for those of us who feel pulled in 100 different directions. So I hope you find some value in the guide and in the other videos on the channel.